Well, hey, everybody. It's MonkeyPuzzle, and welcome to episode number 59 of Exploring Ragnarok. And I am on the island that I've been inhabiting lately, here on these lovely ruins with these stairs that go down. And if you've been following, I've been building these terrace pools off of the ruins. So I've been working on this for... well, only one official episode before this, but then I did a 6-hour live stream in between where I did a whole bunch of work with folks hanging out, keeping me company, making suggestions. And so on stream, we got through these first 3 pools. So we got this little one here, and then this one here, the little spillway coming down. Up here, we got stone benches and trees, and we extended out the terrace a little bit to make it a little bit more substantial and less flat. And then over here is the third pool that we worked on stream. And then it also has a little spillway right here that was a bit of work and finagling. These little foundations you can hop across, kind of like stepping stones. And so that's kind of the little waterfall trickling thing from the spillway. And then it's got rocks and fountains and fish and plants. And if this was at night, you could see that the water actually has a ton of lights down there too. So that makes it look really cool. And we put ivy around the outsides and over there, and tried to soften up some of the edges with it. So it's looking pretty cool. Whoa, I fell in the water. So these, if you don't know, are the new water blocks, the water floors or decorative water from Eco's Garden Decor mod, and using it in combination with Structures Plus. And we've got a couple of other of Eco's mods in here as well. But this is coming along. Not quite done yet. Actually, I've got a bit more to do. When it's done, I'm going to do a whole little showcase on it. Maybe just play some music and run around. Down here, I got ready to do the fourth pool, the fourth and final pool, and this is the biggest pool. And just in case you're interested, the way I scaled these is based on the Fibonacci sequence. And the way it works is it's just a sequence of numbers that it appears in nature, and it's how spirals sort of scale themselves. You can see them in nautiluses and sunflowers and all kinds of stuff. But you start with 0 and 1, kind of like to think of it as like nothing and something. And then you add each number to the previous number. So 0 plus 1 is 1, 1 plus 1 is 2. And then that scales up to 3 and 5 and 8 and 13 and 21. So we've got the 2, 3, 5, and 8. So it's sort of a natural progression, scaling. I think it gives it a good sense of proportion, and that's about as big as I think I should get. Not going to do the 13 one down below, but we could. But before I go on, I learned a few things about working with these water tiles. They can be very finicky to work with, so just wanted to show you some of the things I learned. So the main thing with working with these, let me grab them. There's a bunch here, not on that doty, but this doty here. And I think I can carry all those. I think it's going to take about 59 to get through here. This is 8 by 8, so it's 64, but I cut a little bit out by overlapping it with that pool right there. These things are very finicky about touching stuff around the upper lip of them. So the way these blocks work is that they want to place at ground level, and that's how you have to start them. But they're actually very tall. They're about 4 building parts tall, and you can get them that high, but only by snapping them off of other water blocks. they do align with other building parts, but they don't actually snap to them. You can't snap off this wall per se. I can put one right here and it will align with this upper block. And so basically the way these work is you have to use the natural terrain to establish what the upper level of the pool is going to be. And doing these terraces has worked out really well for that because I have this slope. If you were doing this on flat ground, it would be very difficult to get that. You'd have to basically work back to where there was a natural rock or something like that. Like, see, you can place them off of rocks like this, and then you'd have to bring them forward to where you wanted to use them. But this project has worked out really well. So first thing you want to do is just outline the area that you're going to make the pool. Just putting down foundations like this isn't a problem for snapping them. And so you can see I have gone ahead and outlined my basically 8x8, and then anything you're going to have in the water you want to place down first too. So you see I've gone crazy placing down all the different coral versions. She's got like 5 or 6 different kinds of coral, Eco does, and they're all mixed up in here, kind of rotated, trying to make it look not too repetitive. You can also place, you know, anything else you want down here. I placed a bunch of lights like this. They're all over under that coral. You can place some plants. I could do more, but I think it's good enough. You can't really see down through the water too well, but enough that it's definitely worth it to decorate. If I put some side glass windows, I might do that later. Then, you know, you can definitely look in here and see what's going on. So, you know, I wanted to make it look as detailed and realistic as possible. Up here where it gets more, well, the water's going to be more shallow, I put more other kinds of plants. I find these palm clusters do really well to kind of fill in a bottom vegetation look. There's this tall coral here. We've got this one is, it's a carnivorous plant that actually exists in real life. What's your name? I don't remember. Pitcher plant. There it is. And they're kind of small, but these kind of wisp grasp, I think they're called. I like these. I think they're like broad heart plants, something like that. And then the bamboo, all stuff that could like really be somewhat aquatic. You kind of have to fake it with some of them. But whatever you think works well and looks good. And one little tip I can give you is that inside this coral, things, I wanted to grab some of these lights, I already got them on them. You can get stuck in them, so if you don't have admin ghosting powers, you should be very careful. And I've just been putting these eco lights because they don't use they don't need a generator. If I really wanted to light this up well, I should probably put down some actual like omnidirectional lights. And there's a good example of almost getting stuck in these, and there's an example of getting fully stuck or not quite. I'm just throwing down a few more of these lights because these don't really give a whole lot of light, so it's hard to really overdo it with them. But they create a nice atmosphere, and like I said, you don't need to put a generator down for them. Okay, so with everything at the bottom of the water that we want to put for now, I'm going to go ahead and place the water blocks, the water floors, I guess they're called. So like I said, I got to start up here, and now they'll place just fine when they're not too tall. It's when they start to get tall that, like I said, they get really finicky. So the main thing I have to convey to you all is do not build the outsides before you place the water blocks. Place the water blocks first, of course, after the stuff that you're going to put on the floor. I had a really hard time placing these water blocks in this pool and in this pool because I didn't know this yet, and I had built the outsides first, and that just made it really difficult. You get tons of missnaps, and took literally like about 20 tries with each water block for them. Whoa, rubber banding. 20 tries with each water block to get them to place correctly. So just trying to save you all some headache and make you love these blocks and not hate them. So I could run into some problems here because I've got this wall here. If I get lucky, I won't. And so far, so good. So that went really smoothly. And then from here, except for right there, should be smooth sailing. Yeah, see there it didn't place correctly because it's by that wall. Making sure that it's not down here somewhere at some weird angle. If you accidentally place over another one, these take like 600 fiber to make. Kind of a strange ingredient for it, but whatever, she has to use something. If you end up with an inventory full of fiber, that means that you broke one of them, demolished it, and you know, because sometimes they'll, if I placed it there, for instance, it would replace that one, and I just get a bunch of fiber back in my inventory. But I'm just going to go ahead now and place all these around, and hopefully it'll go pretty smoothly. And these, you can see, are about as tall as they get. So at this point, I actually built in a floor. Oh, and I forgot to paint that one. I've been doing some painting, which also has a little nuance that I'm going to bring up when I get to the walls that go around this. Pick up that one. Paint it from the side. There we go. It finally caught up. Yeah, so I've just been painting these brown in order to make them look more like ruins, because the nice fresh bright gray, get rid of that, just looks too new. So oh yeah, now I need to paint that too. Alright, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and just get the rest of these placed. Because I haven't built the walls around it yet, it should go pretty smoothly. I might get a misplace or two. But doing it, whoa, but doing it this way, in the order that I've specified, will save you a ton of headache and tons of misplacing of these things. So just trust me on that. It looks like that one might have misplaced in the previous one. So they are finicky, but not impossible if you know what you're doing. And I showed it on a previous video, but just in case you didn't see that one, you make these in the Garden Decor crafting table. The one that looks like a bush, and they're in structures. Right there, it takes a lot of fiber, and that's it. Okay, I got that massive cube of water all put together. I should just leave it like that, because that looks too cool. Makes me look like Moses or something. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna contain that, make it look credible, and get past this moment of silliness when it's all up like that. So I've been doing this thing that's completely unnecessary, but it makes me happy, and that's that I think that where the water touches the stone should look different. So what I've been doing is I've been using the forest green color. Looks like I did it there, but you can't see it too well because of the light. Definitely did it. You can see here where the spillways are, and then you can see where the water touches the sides there. I just think that, you know, with the water next to it, it should look different somehow. I tried making it look darker, like it was wet, but the paint colors didn't work out too well. So instead, we're simulating a kind of dark algae look, so that, you know, which would accumulate in that situation, and it would be good for the fish, and everything creates oxygen and so on. So to do that, though, instead of stacking foundations all the way around like you can do with S+, you got to do walls and ceilings. So that's not that big of a deal. We're going to build those up off of these, but there are some tricks to it, because you have to be able to access them in order to paint them. Now here I've got these foundations here that are going to want to be snapped on as well. If I bring it all the way out here, that would be normally where you place them, you know, facing outward with the inside with this foundation here. But the problem with that is you can't access it. If I try to access it, it's only showing me the water, and you can see it kind of embedded in there. So what you got to do, and I should probably demonstrate, we're onto forest green now. The reason this is a problem for me is if I wanted to paint this, I can't. Theoretically, I'm just painting the water at this point, but the water is not paintable. So what I need to do is pick this stuff back up, and you see if I point at this, I grab the, oh, wrong gun, this gun. If I point at this, it grabs the water and not that. So anyway, no big deal. We can fix that. I just wanted to show you this because this is the other little nuance if you want to paint the sides like that. So to make this work, I pull it back to there, and then I flip it, which you would use your use key, which is E by default, and that just pulls it back just a little bit more. And then now this water is out, or this wall is outside of the water, and now becomes accessible and paintable. So that's it. Those are the main things I wanted to show you. So I'm going to go ahead and build this back up. Again, I pull back till I get to the green one that's facing outward away from me, and then I flip it, brings it back a little bit more. And then as you stack on that, they will all kind of follow that orientation until you get to the top one. And then that one, I hit the Q key just to move it forward a little bit, and then it's aligned with those as well. Because the very top of these, I guess that's the last thing, I keep falling off there. The very top of these has slightly different physics than the rest of it. The very top of it is where it's sort of foundation-like, and things actually want to snap to it. Like I could snap that directly onto it. It has foundation properties. The things always act a little different right when you get to the top, and that's probably why you get some of those conflicts if the building pieces are already there before you place the water blocks. All right, anyway, I'm going to finish putting this together, and then let's go do some other stuff. In the last episode, I tamed 2 gigas, and Emma said she was going to bring over her high-level female, and we can do a little giga breeding and see where that gets us, because I'm not going to be able to finish this whole project today. Just wanted to give you an update, even though it did take most of this video to do it, on what my process is, and if you wanted to build one yourself, how you can do it with minimal headache. All right, see you soon. Oh, and before we go do that, I thought of one other little tip I could show you, is that this one placed wrong, and I can't actually grab it from the outside. One, it's kind of high, but two, it'll just be able to access the water only. Is on your... Whoop, I'm stuck. There we go. On this very top lip, you can actually access these stone walls from up there. And then also, when they get really tall, if you're painting them like I am, it's just too tall to get up to. But again, this little top area, walking on water, can help you out, and you can come along and grab this little lip up here. I got some funny physics, but you actually can walk on the water. You sink in a little bit at parts, and on the edges, stand all the way on top. So I'm going to build this out real quick, just to show you guys who are here with me right now where I'm going at. You know, the next thing being that little wall, there's no, believing that that's holding back all that water. So you want to make it pretty thick. I think you want to make it at least the foundation thick. And I'm starting to feel like for really deep stuff, it should be 2 foundations thick. So I'm going to bring this out a whole nother foundation and kind of build around it. And I think I'm actually going to make this little area inside of it a thing too, where you can actually go in here and I can hide some storage or whatever. I'm going to do that real quick. I'll show you, and then we'll go check out the gigas. Okay, did that. Looks like the water is held back at this point. I'm going to do a lot more to it, make it more interesting, but I just wanted to bring you guys with me for that part. I'll probably make some little ways to get across it and try to like soften up some of the square edges and stuff like that. But you can see down here, we've got this little way we can go in here now. I guess the algae is seeping through the back of the wall. I could probably paint the back differently, but who cares? And then I've left the front open still because I want to do something else up here besides just a giant flat wall. You can see that this has gotten quite tall just doing that. Trying to match up the water from that end to this end. So yeah, something else needs to happen over here, at least another step terrace or something. That will just be a garden, no more water. But yeah, okay. Now I'm going to go over to the desert and go hang out with the gigas. See you over there.